Hi and welcome along to the Invincible podcast. We got Lee Judges in the building and Julian ready for the show today. Just before we get into the show, just have to remind you about this. Are you interested in investing but find it hard to make time with work, family and football? Then check out eToro, the app that makes investing simple and convenient for the busy football fans just like you. With eToro's user-friendly app, you can manage your investments on the go. Get instant access to market data, economic calendars, and trading tools to stay on top of your investment game. eToro is more than just an investment platform, it's a social community. Use the CopyTrader feature to follow successful investors and learn from their strategies while building your portfolio. Trade over 5,000 financial instruments, including 70 cryptocurrencies and 20 plus exchanges. Join over 30 million investors shaping their financial future with eToro. You can even use eToro to make practice trades so that you can have a go at it before you even commit to the real trading. Start investing with eToro today. Click the link in the description or go to etoro.com/AFTV to deposit and set up your account today. You can also read their new ebook and invest smarter with eToro. And remember on last week's show, Julian was bigging it up and saying how he's been onto it and he really, really likes it. And also one of our camera guys, Joe, I heard that he signed up and he's been making a load of money. Hey, Joe, we need to talk, right? So it looks like, you know what, it looks like I'm missing a boat here, man. I need to sign up immediately and get busy with eToro. You going to sign up?
I'm going to sign up because Joe's not here today, so he's doing well on the money
Joe's
front.
He's on holiday.
He's on holiday, like,
you don't need it, though. You don't need to be here no more. You know, he's making so much money
like,
for that.
you know.
How you guys been? How you guys been? You know, I've got to ask you, right? Because I saw a video, right, on TikTok that's gone viral. Right, run this video. Let people see this video.
Okay.
You're at your best time, so want me to push on it?
All right. Explain to me what happened here. I'm glad that you're all right, first of all.
Well, I was
right,
terrible.
but in a wheelchair. I saw it at first and I'm like, oh my God, what's it? You've been playing football or what's going on?
Well, we went to Fort Park. You know, I was doing a bit of content there, weren't we? Like, and
the idea was we were supposed to do a show. That didn't happen, did it, Lee?
No, it didn't happen because I was ill. I've done the first ride that goes up, straight down, no problem. But then I said to them, I don't like going on rides when you go backwards to, you know, when you're on a train, I have to sit on the front, you know, I have to look facing it. If I sit behind, I get all funny. So I said, no, there's no twists and turns on this ride. Like, was it Nemesis, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more twists and turns on that, and I tell you, like, you know, well, it goes up and round, and I'll come off of there, Rob. Honestly, I knew. As soon as I walked up, well, I knew I was going to be. But I come over, like, sweating, dripping, and my heart rate went down to less than 40, which is like, the actual first aider said to me, are you an Olympic athlete? Like, do you know what I mean? I said, do I look like it? She said, because this is Olympic athlete sort of thing, like, you know what I mean? So I said, we've got to get you to the first aid thing. So I said, well, where's that? They said, it's across the park. So I'm there, like, they said, oh, we've got a wheelchair for you. So they're wheelchairing me. If you imagine what it's like, I was out of it anyway. Wheelchairing me all the way through the park. He's taking videos, loving it. And when they gets there, they says, like, you know, they thought I was going to have a heart attack because it was so low, you got chest pains and all that. So they sent me to they sent an ambulance, I'm going to hospital now. And I think, well, where the hell am I going to go to this? And anyway, like, the first aider said, there's one way we can get this back if you have salt. So they got me some chips, didn't they? We got free chips.
Yeah, got free chips.
Free chips.
It's good.
Free chips from KFC. And they put the salt on them, and luckily my heart rate started going up and I was all right. But for the next day, that day, and the next day, I was really ill. So the moral of the story is, do not go on those silly rides. You know
going on rides. Yeah.
There was only one ride.
Well, I've done two. I've done one before that.
Yeah.
Going on rides, yeah? Hold on, wait a minute. So this was going on rides?
Yeah.
It was just one ride.
Not only that, you have to queue up for it. And
no, but the thing is,
we actually paid extra to...
We paid extra not to queue up.
Yeah.
We had all these fast passes, we never got to use them.
Got to use them, like, you know what I mean?
Going on rides.
On a ride, yeah. And
serve you right,
we
mate.
actually
Where are you
asked.
going?
I know. We actually asked the first day. They were great, by the way. The first day team in Thorpe Park. Big up to them. They were fantastic. And I was saying, what is the most common thing that you do? And they said, people passing out on these rides. Yeah, it's the most common thing on it. I don't know how people get enjoyment and going twisting. And there was another ride when I was sitting there. I was out of it, right, laying there and there's this ride next to us, and they start off spinning like that, and then it goes up and they're spinning, and they're all cheering and I'm thinking, oh my God, it made me ill, and I was laying on the floor. You know what I mean? It was how people go on those rides and enjoy it. I do not know.
You're not going to be auditioning for the next Top Gun film, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't be able to do that. I got home and of course my mum and that are all going like, what's the matter with you? I remember the time you went in a helicopter and passed out. What were you doing? Like, you know what I mean? I just ain't no good. Do you know those other things? Those rides which what they when they stay simulators like.
Yeah. So you can't do none of that. You go to Thorpe Park. Well, you go to Thorpe Park.
Well, because of him. You know what I mean? Like he dragged me there. Like everybody's saying to me, well, "Why did you go?"
Well, the idea was the studio was in Chertsey. We always said we'd go there, so we thought, right, we'll go to Thorpe Park first, and then we'll go into the studio. Unfortunately, the studio element didn't happen, did it?
But hold on, how could, I don't get it. You
Well,
know
listen,
that you're not good with
when we
heights.
was in Orlando,
You know you're not good with those things.
Do
You go to Thorpe Park.
Do you know when we was in Orlando, right?
Yeah.
He kept going on. Oh, let's go to.
Yeah, we didn't.
And I knew I was going.
But you wanted to go?
No, I pretended I wanted to go. I never wanted to go because I knew what was coming. Like, do you know what I mean? But with this one football, I said just get him off my back, and I thought, well, I'll pick and choose what rides I can go on, like the ones that they told me there's no twists and turns on this, like, you know what I mean?
But you could see when you got on.
No, I didn't see.
You went upside down 5 times.
5 times. Well, on the third one, I didn't know because I passed out. Like, you know what I mean?
Man. Well, that TikTok video, man, went viral. Right?
Yeah.
And I was killing myself with laughing because at least I knew it was all right, so I could start laughing.
Yeah,
Right?
I was all right.
But anyway, you guys been enjoying the Euros, mate? Like some fantastic performances by England. We're blazing in the tournament, through to the next round, top of the group.
It was functional. They've done what they've needed to do.
It's rubbish.
It was rubbish. If you're looking for entertainment, then it was absolute rubbish. But then with a lot of these tournaments, when you look at the countries that actually come through, get to the final and potentially win it, a lot of them do start off slow.
So you're trying to make excuses for that rubbish that we've seen there?
There's no excuse. For an entertainment perspective, it was rubbish. But as you pointed out, they haven't actually conceded a goal. So defensively, they're pretty sound.
They have conceded a goal.
Yeah, drew 1-1 with Denmark.
Drew 1-1 with Denmark, innit?
Of course, all right, I take that back. There's no defence whatsoever. Probably. I can't say I've enjoyed it. It's not been particularly entertaining.
It's been dreadful.
The quality of the opposition, you'd have to say, is probably poor, and they have to step it up. But they've also got to step up the entertainment value.
Listen, the thing that you're talking about, entertainment value, teams sort of starting tournaments slow, yeah, you're right. That does happen, right? But the thing is about England's performances, it gives you no hope that they're going to improve in the future. You see how Southgate plays; he's so negative, right? And then that group. Let's be real; that's an easy group.
Yeah,
that England had, yeah. That group itself was the worst group in the whole tournament for when you talk about entertainment and football. The only team to win a game in that group was England. They beat Serbia in the first game. Every other game was a draw. Every other game in that group was a draw. I call that group the group of dead. You know, they say group of death, the other groups. Group of dead, the deadest group. We're so fortunate that we've got like an easy game in it, you know, on paper in the next round against Slovakia. We could have got the Netherlands, which, you know,
they were poor as well.
They've been poor, but they've been better than England. Yeah. And I'm just like, with the players we've got, and then I'm looking even at our players, right? I mean, Saka and Rice haven't looked at their best. You know, the second game, you know, they were coming under heavily criticism. Rice in particular was really poor in that game. They did play better in the other game. They played better in the last game. But it's just been so bad, so poor.
Yeah, it's not been good. But the thing is, like the old Southgate, you know what I mean? We got a nice route to the final now. Like, you know, we ain't got to play anybody like in the what I would say one of the favourites. All the other teams, the big guns, are all on the other side of the draw. So you could turn around and say he's clever and worked all this out. Like, you know what I mean?
He's not clever. He is lucky. But then the other thing about the competition, it's a cup competition.
Yeah.
So luck plays.
So
It's not over sort of 38 league games.
Does play a
So
part.
Show us
plays a
something,
big-
man. You know what I mean? How's he making our players look like this?
Because I think because of his negative tactics, you know what I mean? Like I look at it and I think to myself, look, if you be really honest about it, Bellingham been superb, great player. Harry Kane, great player. Saka, best English player for the last 2 years. You know what I mean? Let's get that right. Like, you know, Foden. But what he's done is he's took the whole left side away. So at the end of the day, you ain't got nothing coming from the left-hand side. So if you're a good tactic coach and all that, you just say, right, we'll block the right-hand side, and that's what's happening. There's no way of getting through. Harry Kane's not looked the same player that he has done.
Because he's dropping too deep.
Dropping too
and
deep
we haven't got an outlet. So that's when Ollie Watkins came on for, what was it, sort of 20 minutes. It did look different because he's got some speed and he was able to run beyond.
But you're never going to drop Harry Kane, and I get that.
But no, you have to be brave. Because if a player, he's being picked, from what I can see, on the fact his name is Harry Kane, not for the performances that he's been putting in this Euros. And from what I've seen in 20 minutes of Ollie Watkins, he looked a better fit for this England team at the moment.
Well, I don't know about that, because I think that at the end of the day, if you've cut the half of Harry Kane's supply, it ain't very, very good. I can't believe. I look at the game with Walker at the moment. I quite like Walker, but he's hindering Saka. Every time he gets the ball, play it out to Saka straight away. He doesn't. He runs up to where Saka is, and then Saka has to drop inside. After 20 minutes, I've got Tottenham fans texting me and going, "Get Saka off." Do you know what I mean? Can't wait to get him out. You know what I mean? Again, he's been England's best player for the last 2 years, and at the end of the day, he's got to get out of the team and whatever. No one's saying about, as you say, Harry Kane. They're going, you've got to bring in Palmer. He's been doing fantastic. Well,
he did do well, Palmer, when he came on.
He did do well, but the game's a little bit more stretched and whatever. Players are tired and all that. But the fact is, you've got to get Palmer in line. And Julian makes a very, very good point there. Ollie Watkins, 19 goals this season. No one's saying, he's got to get Watkins in, It's always got to get Saka out. And everybody going, what about Declan Rice? Yeah, Declan Rice has played poor in the last 2 games to his standards. But why? Why is he not? Why? Jude Bellingham, by the way, the last couple of games, he's been worse. And I'm a big fan of his. Why is he not playing well? Foden, why is he not playing well? You know what I mean? Saka, Kane, all of our attacking players. You can't just turn around and say, well, it's not this and that. It's got to be the system when you've got so many good players.
It's also the chemistry and the relationship between the players. Now, Saka has a fantastic relationship with Ben White. You know, they play well as a pair. And one thing about football that people seem to forget, it's not about, you talk about, this one's been playing brilliant, that one's been playing brilliant. Yes, individual players playing well is important, but it's more important that the team plays well as a team. And what you've got is some fabulous individual players in the England team, but they're not playing as a team. So the relationship between Kyle Walker and Saka isn't there. They're not playing to each other's strengths. Whereas if you had Ben White there...
I'm sorry, Junior. They've played long enough over the last 2, 3, 4 years to have some sort of...
But it's nothing like the amount of game time that Saka and Ben White have had.
I agree, but Ben White, for whatever reason, is not there. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes you have that, don't you? Like, I look at it and go, well, Walker,
he's a good individual player.
Yeah. But
he's not playing well with Saka.
No, it just doesn't help Saka.
So you get rid of one of them. You do have to get rid of one of them. If they're not playing well as a pair, or that particular side isn't working, you've got to try another pairing.
Yeah, my mate, I've got a mate as well who's going, he's a Chelsea fan. He's like, Cole Palmer's got to start. Saka ain't done nothing. But I said, hold on, mate. I said, in that game, Saka did score, you know that?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Okay, you've forgotten that? He goes, no, he was offside. No, I said, Foden was offside. But Saka weren't offside. It's for Foden costs... Yeah, if he'd timed his run better, right? I go, Saka actually scored, right? So I go, you're forgetting that, right? I go, if you get the ball, you give him the right service, like you said, get him the ball quicker so that he can. He's a serious threat.
He created a goal for Harry. For Bellingham?
Yeah.
Created a goal for Bellingham.
For
Yeah, I
first
mean, he's
goal.
had more impact than like a lot of other
Yeah.
players. The problem is the left-hand side.
Is the
That
problem.
is the problem. There is no left-hand side.
Exactly
So
that.
what happens is players can say, right, I'm going to double up, treble up on Saka. There ain't nothing coming on that left-hand side. If it does get over there, we can deal with it easier because, you know, it's only Trippier. He's coming inside. Foden's coming inside. There's no wing play.
Yeah,
nothing.
exactly that.
Right, so that's the team's completely imbalanced. What do you make about the what Ian Wright said? Ian Wright came out and said that what they should actually do is play Saka as a left back, which, remember, when he first came into Arsenal, he used to play as a left back, so you can then get Cole Palmer into the team on the right, or even Foden out onto that right hand side and balance the team up. I mean, what do you make of that?
I think the issue at the moment is they did come top of their group. They have been playing badly, so he's caught, because if they were doing really bad and there was a desperate situation,
You're doing really bad.
but they still came top, and they've got a relatively
It's
easy.
a rubbish group, right? And Yummy, you can. It's papering over the cracks.
They
of the
threw
road.
after one game, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Going top of that group is papering over the cracks, right? Because that group is rubbish, right? And what everybody's worried about is later on, when you start to play the better teams, you know, I mean, they need to start growing into this tournament fast.
Yep.
They do need to do something.
But on paper, on the table, on the draw that they've got, they're not in a desperate situation. So to change that would be a dramatic change. It's the kind of change you do as a last chance saloon because everything's not working. So it's a big risk. If he did that, it would be adventurous, very, and it could well work. But it's a massive, massive call, especially as the fact that actually they're doing not great as in performances, but they're getting the results that they need. So I think it'd be a big risk. But then, yes, I did see him play very well, and that's where he started.
Yeah.
For Arsenal.
I mean, no, I'm just saying, what do you guys think? I'm not with it.
I'd do it. I'd do it.
I wouldn't.
I would, because it isn't working, and it needs something needs to be changed. But I don't think he'll do it because of his mentality and also the fact they're doing all right.
And I agree with Julian, I like his mentality. England were through. They had 4 points, right? That game was a nothing game to us, really. We knew he was through. He could have experimented in that game and gone free at the back or and played the two wing backs. That would have put Saka out there. And also the other thing,
still couldn't lose that game. You couldn't really experiment. If he'd won the second game, he could have done that.
But they'd already through. They was already through. Whatever. It depended where they wanted to go. If they
but
wanted
that's
to win
massively
the group and all
important.
that. But at the end of the day, that they had the safety net of they was already through. So they could have just been a little bit more expansive in what he was going to do. He could have actually played Saka out on the left if he wanted to in a free. If he wanted to do. I'm not so sure about the left back situation, but I can't believe what pelters that Ian Wright's got for it, because it's an option. It's an option because we haven't got a left-sided player. Again, that's his fault, the manager, taking players that are not fit and breaking up the left side completely whether you think it's right or whether it's wrong with the Rashford and Grealish situation. But is there not a left back in this country? I thought Mitchell is Crystal Palace is decent. Why have we not took a left back? And it could well be that we have to play Saka. If it's me now, I'll go free at the back, wing backs.
Yeah,
Trent comes in and Saka.
To me, Saka, you leave Saka in his position, right? You need to sort out that left-hand side. You bought Gordon. He's a left winger, right? He's had a good season for Newcastle.
Playing.
If you didn't trust him, then you should have bought Rashford. Or you should have bought Grealish.
Yeah, that's a
right?
great point.
You didn't bring those guys, right? Because you say they're not on form, they're not playing well. But you bought this guy, play the guy. Don't bring him on for 1 minute at the end of the third game. Play him, trust him, play him, right? But he's not doing that. That's the thing. He's not brave enough. He's as a manager, he's not one inch
I think he's going to be
of bravery in him. That's why he's talking about how much he misses Calvin Phillips. Because he just loves the double pivot. It's all about defence. He's not brave enough. With the players he's got, England should be doing a lot better. You keep Saka on there. When Saka gets tired later on, that's when you bring on Cole Palmer. Or you could play Cole Palmer in the number 10. I think push Bellingham back and next to Rice,
Well, that was, everybody
play
was saying
Foden or
But he's-
Cole
but
Palmer
he's
there
gonna-
in that number 10
It looks like he's
position.
going to be forced into a change anyway because Foden's had to leave the England camp
Yeah,
for the
He should
birth
come
of
back
his-
though, shouldn't he?
Yeah,
'Cause
he's
it's
like-
the birth of his kids.
birth.
Yeah, but then
And he's
if
not
he- but then
exactly
he-
had to fly back, you know,
Yeah,
he's
but
just
if-
from
but-
Germany.
But if he's not,
You know what I mean?
but if he's not training, how can you put him back in? They're going to prepare.
Well,
that
the game's
specific
not until
game.
Sunday, isn't it? The game's on Sunday, and he's been, you know, he probably would have had a little bit of a rest anyway. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, it's a couple of recovery days.
listen, I'm just, and like you said, why is it Saka picking up so much stick? I didn't think he had the
Well,
worst.
I'll tell you what, Saka's been better
Saka and
than
Rice.
Foden. He's been better than Bellingham. He's been better than Kane. He's been better than out of all the front guys. He's been the I'm not saying he's been great, by the way. I'm just saying
Yeah.
he's been the best of a bad bunch. Put it that way,
Yeah.
like. And everyone's saying it's got to be Saka. It's got to be Saka. No one's saying Harry Kane should be left out. Was what Julian was saying earlier on. No, I haven't seen anybody turn around and say, all my Saka. I actually said, what about Kane and Bellingham? No, keep them on. It's got to be Saka. I said, why? Yeah, he's not doing it.
Because he's called Harry Kane and he's got a reputation for scoring goals and he's done that for his whole career. But at some point,
There will be a
stops.
point. There will be a point, but he has scored in this tournament. By the way, we're saying with Saka's created, Harry Kane scored, but for me, England's best player over the last 2-3 seasons has been Saka.
Yeah.
So he should have some credit in the bank, particularly with English fans, and he hasn't. And I don't understand why.
Yeah.
I don't really understand that why he's not doing that.
Let me ask you this, right? So, obviously, the Euros are continuing on. We started off the Euros, what was it, 11 players? Well, we got 11 players away on international duty, including the 2 away with Brazil. They didn't get off to a great start either, Brazil. 0-0. Gabriel Magalhaes didn't even play, by the way. Martinelli came on with a few minutes to go. So, but they're away with Brazil. We've got all these players away at the moment on international duty. The only players that are going to come back now after the first round we know is Kiwior. They're out. So Poland are out. So Kiwior and Zinchenko because Ukraine are out. But that still leaves.
There's another player coming back. Tierney, but he's not.
And Tierney,
Yeah,
Tierney's back
He's
as well.
come back on a stretcher.
Yeah,
again.
another injury for him, and what does that do for any potential move? We're going to have to wait and see. So that means Saliba, Ramsdale,
I think you'll find there's 10
Rice,
because there was 13.
Saka, Trossard, Havertz, who else? Raya,
Yeah.
right? All of those players still at the Euros, playing for teams that look like they're going to go deep down into the tournament, right? So we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, Julian, and we were saying, what's Arsenal's preparation going to be like? Because remember those Euros, it's 2 weeks to go until that finishes, right? Arsenal's pre-season starts on the 28th of July, right? So that's what, about we're nearly in July, right? So that's nearly roughly 3 weeks away, right? Roughly. And the pre-season's been announced now, right? So, they're playing some tough games in that pre-season. Got Manchester United on the 28th of July in LA, SoFi Stadium. Thursday, the 1st of August, they play Liverpool, right, in Philadelphia, another tough one. Now the latest couple of fixtures have been announced for the Emirates Cup because we know we didn't make the Community Shield. So 2 fixtures at the Emirates Cup, one on Wednesday, the 7th of August against Bayer Leverkusen. Great game. Leverkusen who were Invincibles last season in their league. And on the 12th of August, Lyon as well in the Community Shield.
Yeah.
Then the following week, the season, 6 days later, the season kicks off with a home game against Wolves. Those players that are away, when are they going to get involved? How much rest are they going to get? What I mean? I'm starting to get a bit worried about Arsenal's preparation for this new season because then we're straight into those games, and then we know our start to the season: Wolves at home, Villa away, Brighton at home, Spurs away, Spurs away, City away. Are you looking at? I don't know how much people have sort of looked at this difficult start to the season. a difficult preseason, which it's not must-win games, but they've deliberately set a very challenging preseason. There's no easy games and there's no MLS All-Stars or this team or that. Yeah, I mean,
straight into it.
But are we going to be really ready? I think we were all there last season, and the thing that our takeaway straight after the American tour was like,
Yeah.
they're ready.
Just bring it on, yeah.
Last two tours.
Bring it on, man. They're ready.
Do you remember in the one against Orlando we smashed Chelsea? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was about 4-0, wasn't it?
And we thought, and Chelsea struggled and we didn't. So
Are they going to be ready this year though? Because that's a lot of players away, isn't it?
there is a lot.
And don't forget, Brazil will, despite their poor start, they totally dominated the game, should have won it. They're going to go deep down into the tournament as well.
Yeah, I think what they do is, I don't see any of those players. Like if England get to the final, or any of them get to the final, Germany, they won't go on that American tour. They'll be
What if they get to the semi-final?
Well, I think they work it out.
They still will go on the tour.
They get 3.
They'll be back for the tour.
They get 3 weeks off, don't they?
All right.
No, I think they get 2 weeks off.
No, they're 3. They've said they get 3.
Well, they'd at least be back for the second US game. And the other thing is, the most important thing is, you need to be ready for Wolves. That's what you need to be for that first game of the season. And I think we've been, you talk about a tough start to the season, but if we could pick a team to play first game of the season and where, I would say we've been very fortunate. We've got Wolves, who historically we've done very well against. The other thing about Wolves is we talk about the preparation. Wolves have got 3 players playing for Portugal. The way it's looking, I think, even though Portugal have been relatively poor, I think they'll progress. And with the depth of Wolves' squad, I think 3 players going far into the tournament will have a big effect on them because they don't have the level of squad that Arsenal do.
3 players that don't start for Portugal.
But they're not.
Right, but they don't have the
still
amount
away
of players.
from.
They don't have the amount of players that the Arsenal players have got away. And you were just talking about the first game. What about the second one? Villa away. That's a tough game.
Yeah, but that's an extra week.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying to you, right?
Difference.
So for instance, let's just say they progress to the quarterfinals.
When is the final? 14th.
The final's on the 14th of July, right?
14th.
Pre-season's on the 28th of July.
So there's no way there's no way they go on that. They might go on the tour, but there's no way they play. At the end of the day, they need to.
Yeah, 28th of July. That's the 14th. That's 2 weeks before, right? Exactly 2 weeks before. Even if you say they're getting 3 weeks before, even if it was like quarterfinal, semi-finals, and a lot of these players could get there. That's 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Right, that's 3 weeks. You've got to go. You need a break. This is an intense time. We've seen the pressure. For instance, right, the England players have been under. We've seen the pressure that Saka, Rice have been under, having to go to press conferences. It's the mental pressure as well as the physical pressure. After that, you need a proper break. You can't be just like a week off and then running into pre-season.
No, right? They have a good break and all that.
So I'm with Lee. Even if they go to the US, a lot of those players, it's not going to be the same intense way that you see some of those players that have been away.
Yeah.
And a lot of these players could go deep. Havertz could go deep in it.
Anyone that goes
the England
deep,
players
I
could go
think
deep in it. Saliba. Saliba's played every game so far.
Yeah, Saliba. They won't play until the week before the game against Lyon. You watch.
Yeah, but previously.
That's one game before the. Sorry to cut you, Julian. Yeah. That's one game before the start of the season. Whereas last year, all of those players had played loads of games before the game started. The problem. They started off. They're playing in Germany, right up to the. This is what I'm saying. That
it's a problem.
Yeah, but if you look, previously pre-season was about getting up to match fitness. And the reason for that is because when players came to the end of one season, they went on holidays, they were drinking, some of them were even smoking.
That's 20 years ago, mate.
Yeah, and that's what
that's changed years
exactly.
ago.
So you don't actually need pre-season's slightly different now. Pre-season isn't as much about getting your body back into condition because their bodies never get out of condition.
No, it's about getting.
Well, I disagree with that because if you look at,
especially if you
go to America last season, Declan Rice come back and he was off the pace. Do you remember?
It was a difference. Yeah, because he'd been playing for West Ham.
Yes, and he was left. He played for West Ham, and he had to catch up on the rest.
That's a great point, Lee. That's a great point because
it wasn't physical.
He got
fitness.
right down to the end of the competition. He had to play that Conference League final. Then it's all that comes with winning it, and then celebrating and all that. And he was off the pace at first.
He was off the pace, not because he was unfit, because he had they call it a European final, but...
So what are they doing in England now then?
They are keeping
what is the difference between the conference now and
ultimately,
and also when you look back at the conference, that conference league was finished in the end of May. We're talking the end of July now.
Yeah, it's an intense... Listen, they're in a tournament right now, and it's intense.
But their whole lives are intense.
No, hold on, Julian. It's an intense tournament, right? And as I said, it's not just the football; it's all the other stuff that comes with it, and that goes. It's not just England. That will be. I saw the criticism Brazil were getting, so that's going to be intense for those.
It's more intense in Brazil,
right down there, right? Right. France are getting criticism at the moment because they're saying they're not playing as well, but so that's intense for Saliba, even though he's been playing really well. It's an intense period for Trossard, for Havertz in the home country thing. You know what I mean? None of them. All those players there, I'd say, probably not even at any minute of the day, they're thinking about Arsenal right now. They're thinking about England, France, their countries that they're playing about.
And then
they are focused completely on that, right? Because of the amount of scrutiny and intensity around that tournament, right? We may be all about our club. They're all about their country, right?
Yeah,
and so when that finishes,
they want a break.
Yeah.
You need a break, man. You need to just get away. You need to
3 weeks.
Yeah, they will get. I think what they
get away from it. You need to do nothing. And that's what I'm saying. Compete. Even if you get your 3 weeks, the preparation is not the same as last year.
And there's only so many teams that can get to a final.
Also, don't forget,
we're probably going to lose 2-3 players, if that.
Yeah. Also, don't forget.
No, but it's not even a final. Even if you get a semi-final, if you get to the quarterfinals, it's still not a big break.
But they're still going to have 2-3 weeks to prepare for the season, which is for Wolves, which they should have enough. And when you're playing for a top team like Arsenal, you are going to have that many players.
They would have prepared for it. They would be prepared for that.
They are prepared. But who are they up against? All right, they're up against Wolves that first game. But ultimately, we're competing with Manchester City. Manchester City have got 13 players, or had 13 players at the Euros. Arsenal had 11. So Man City got more players, so they've got more to deal with than Arsenal.
I don't care about Man City. I'm talking about.
But we should care about Man City because they're our main rivals now.
I'm talking about us, right? And if you're talking about players away, right? And the Man City game, right? That's a little later on.
Yeah, but Man City have got
as many players
but Man
away.
City's still playing. Man City got first game of the season.
Villa hasn't got as many players away. Brighton haven't got as many players away, right? So, and the
players
that they have got away
their squads aren't as big as Arsenal's.
And their players are not going as far down. And all I'm focused upon is Arsenal and their preparation. And the thing that they've done brilliantly over the last couple of seasons, which has meant that we've had a good thing, is we've got off to great starts because of our preparation. And I'm not saying, listen, I'm trusting in Arteta and these guys. They've got a plan for it, but the preparation is going to be disrupted by all this.
It will be, but it's disrupted for a lot of teams, and so they're
which is the point I've made. And actually more for Man City.
It's very interesting that the last 2 trips to America and the ones before that, there's been 3 games. They've only gone for 2 this time.
Yep.
So they're looking at it all there, and also there'll be things put in place. Is right. Okay, it might not be that they've got a game. Like at the Emirates, but they could put one behind closed doors that suits the players and things like that. So they're all come back. It used to be like as soon as you was out of the tournament, from that day on you got 3 weeks off, right? So if you go out in the quarterfinals, you can come back a little bit earlier and all that. They'll make sure that they're rested and done everything that they probably can. And when they come back, it might be that they only need 1 pre-season game, and it might not be. It might be behind closed doors and everything like that.
One pre-season game's not.
Yeah, but
really good for getting you up to
they'll
speed.
all be back. All of those players, whether they're in the final or not, will be available for that Lyon game.
But he is actually putting a plan B together, which is put into effect this week, which he's taken, I think, 5 or 6 players who would probably get into most first team's 11 to
Marbella.
To Marbella.
Yeah,
and he's already priming them, and those are the kind of players that if he gets them up to speed early, and he's gone early.
Some of those players
are
linked with a move away.
Yeah,
like Smith Rowe. You know what I mean? That's the other thing. We're going to take transfers and all that thing into account as well.
And then we'll be getting
Eddie Nketiah. He's over in Marbella. He's probably going to go, right? You know what? Right? Even when you look at it, just looking at it, just going back to that, players that I think will go far into the tournament. Would you say England will probably, when you look at the run,
semi-final? If England don't get to the semi-finals,
So that's Ramsdale.
In the quarters if they get through.
Switzerland or Italy, and then they've got like a batch from Turkey, Romania.
Right. So there's a big chance
Netherlands.
We can see them on paper. They should go. Well, I don't know how we watch them play, but on paper they should go semis, right? That's Ramsdale, Saka, Rice, deep down into the tournament. A lot of people are tipping Spain to go far. That's Raya, deep down into the tournament. A lot of people are saying France semi-finals, final. Saliba, deep down into the tournament. Is what I'm talking about.
Havertz.
Yeah.
Havertz, a lot of people saying, deep down into the tournament.
That's our front three of last season.
Right.
Are not going to be, if you think of it, Saka, Havertz, Martinelli are all going to go deep in.
Copa America finishes the same day. Right? Brazil. Even though these guys aren't starting, but they, still in the training camp, still got all the intensity, everything that goes with it, they'll go deep down. So I'm saying, we're going to be relying, you're right, we're going to be relying on some of the players that are left behind. But how many of them are even going to be there at the start of the season? Because, some of those homegrown players you're talking about,
Jesus is going to
they're going to probably cash in.
So
He's got a lot available.
All right, Jesus, who else? Like the main guys that they'll be relying on. Timber, he's back from injury.
And you got Ben White.
Ben White, okay.
Thomas Partey.
Thomas Partey. You have
Thomas Partey's been linked with a move away. There's strong rumours that
he doesn't have to sell him for the transfer window. The transfer window finishes when?
Transfer window finishes at the last day of August.
Okay.
Right.
So they can still keep them for a couple of games.
Do you want to risk a Thomas Partey? You could potentially get like a 30 million from a team in Saudi. He goes and plays the first couple of games and gets injured, and that's over.
He can get injured in training.
No, but hold on, Julie. You have to work out how these things work, right? They want that money, right? If they're going to be looking at making other signings and stuff like that. They ain't going to risk players like that in big games if they don't have to, right? So, Jorginho with Italy could go far down. That's another one I forgot. So, I'm telling you, it's going to mess with the preparation.
Well, we'll have to.
And we've got, as I said, a lot of our players are featuring for these teams. They're big teams that everyone's looking for them to go far down.
Well, I do remember a few years ago we were in a similar situation, and they kept Nasri for a few more weeks because we didn't have cover, and they sold him. And that was a bigger transfer,
risk though,
relatively, but they did it.
Yeah,
so we didn't have the cover.
A few years ago, wasn't it?
we didn't have the
that's
cover.
That's over 10 years ago, right? I'm saying now,
and money was tighter then because of the stadium move.
To me, they ain't going to want to risk playing a player like Thomas Partey.
See, I think Thomas Partey will stay anyway, don't you? Or don't you?
Well, if they get a big offer, then probably not.
There's been a lot of talk of big offers that could come in from Saudi.
It's talk of. It didn't happen last season, and they were up for selling him then, and nothing came in for him.
Smith Rowe, are they going to keep him? This is talk even today that Fulham have made an inquiry about him. There's about 4 other teams that want him. There's loads of teams that want him.
You've got cover. You have cover. He's built a really impressive squad with depth, and he's working with the players that are available to him now, and he's making the best of this situation. So I think this tournament was always going to happen. It's not as if they've just put it on him at the last minute. Right. He's prepared for it.
Starting 11 for the first game then, based off of the guys that you're putting in. So
for me personally, I'd still have a similar starting 11 to what we finished with last season with Raya in goal. I mean,
Ben White, he hasn't been away. The 2 centre backs would have gone far down into the tournament. So hopefully they're all right to play. Yeah. But they've gone far down. Left back,
I'd have Zinchenko,
I guess you can have Timber, or you can have Zinchenko,
Tomiyasu still,
or Tomiyasu. That's not too bad. Rice in the midfield.
Yeah.
People be saying looking tired already, right? Rice is. Partey's still going to be there.
Yeah, Odegaard hasn't gone.
Is Partey? What's he going to be like? Is Jorginho What shape are you going to be in?
If Partey's still there, you'd play Partey. If Rice was...
I'm saying possibility.
You've got great options there.
I'm just looking at it. Listen,
you're not bringing in a youth player because Rice is not there. You're bringing in Thomas Partey.
Now, hold on. If he's not sold, remember, they want to sell Partey. That's my opinion. I mean, in my opinion...
Yeah, but they'll bring someone in, wouldn't they? Someone's going to come in. If they sell Partey,
You bring in a new person, right?
But you don't know.
We don't know how he's going to drop straight in.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking.
Especially
Listen, I'm not
it's not
saying it
Premiership
can't work. You know.
No.
I'm just talking about ideal preparation versus what we're going to be having at the moment. Then up front, I guess
the one
Saka. People are saying he's looking a bit tired of thing, right? Reece Nelson's probably going to be sold, right? So what happens there? There's someone we bought in, but if we bought in someone, if it was a Nico Williams, he's been at the Euros, he could go deep. Jesus
has been there.
Yeah.
He's been.
Who's going to play down the middle? Is Havertz? How tired's he going to be? What shape's he going to be? We might be probably going to be selling Eddie on that left-hand side. Trossard and Martinelli both been away. So I'm just talking about preparation.
Preparation for Wolves.
Ideal.
At home.
It's not preparation for Wolves. It's preparation for the season.
Preparation
You've
for
got
the
an
start
extra-
of the
you've got
season.
an extra
pre-season
week.
for us. But what I'm saying
You have an
with
extra
the
week
pre-season,
after that.
what the biggest issue is, where Arsenal have been successful over the last couple of seasons going into the season, is the new players that have come in have been in that pre-season straight away.
Ready
and integrated and everything like that. This season, I think that if we do get some players in, and if they've been in the Euros or wherever they might not be integrated, that could be a problem. I don't see it on the other side of it. I think like everybody will be back for that Wolves game and be properly prepared. Maybe just slightly off of it, but as you said, Julian, they've got another week to the next game after that.
I see that first game with Wolves like
to be tough.
Wouldn't surprise me a few players like Saka and that being left out.
Oh yeah,
They're
maybe
not quite ready
possibly.
yet.
Not quite ready, but
Not
ready
quite
for
ready
Aston
yet.
Villa. Is that what you think?
Yeah, because
And then that means they go into the next game against Aston Villa. They haven't really played yet. They ain't had that first game.
And then there's the international break.
Then you got Brighton.
Brighton and
Then the
the
international break. So I'm just saying,
Brighton- Brighton's at
international.
home.
Yeah, another international break, and I think it's World Cup qualifiers, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's not friendlies.
No, they're qualifiers. Yeah.
So this is going to be an intense start to the season. This is going to be like, I'm just highlighting this fact that preparation-wise, I don't think we're going to be as well prepared as we were last season or the season before.
No, I don't think we will be. I think
but then the opposition wouldn't be as well. So I'm hoping.
No, but you can't keep saying that, Julian, because Villa ain't going to have as many players.
Yeah.
Listen, you can have players away as well, right? You can have players away at a tournament, but we've got important players away.
And we've got important players
Right.
that aren't away, and Wolves who've got first game.
Who
It's
so
very difficult.
yeah, all the guards,
Yeah.
right? Out of those players, the important players that haven't been away, the starters, in an ideal situation, the players who would start of the players that are left behind is the Odegaard, Ben White.
That's it.
No, you got Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
Would he start?
Yeah.
He wasn't starting at the end of last season. Havertz started.
But he was slightly injured. I think they've
No, but he wasn't starting.
I think it's been a
resolved
good
that
thing that he's
situation.
not gone because he can now work on his fitness.
He weren't starting.
Yeah, but I think he'd be sharp this season.
Yeah, I think so.
Two players. They would
So
have started.
I'm going to go
Three.
to those three.
Three.
Jesus would have started. How many games? He hardly started last
Yeah,
season.
but I
But
think
he was carrying that injury and they've sorted that out.
I think Havertz became established as that centre forward.
Yeah, but-
Saka would play on the right, and on the left hand side he'd be like Martinelli. So he's not, not to say he can't do a job, but I'm just saying when you say the players left, the only ones that you say definitely.
And they're starting to come back. We've got Zinchenko back.
Yeah, but I hear what Robbie's saying. The only
Zinchenko could be sold as well,
two
by the way.
genuine start. Like, if you was to say, right, you nailed on 11, you got Odegaard and Ben White that are not gone. Are the only two, I would say. Like Thomas Partey probably he played the last five games.
Really? He didn't always start?
He would start when he wasn't
Vieira
injured.
certainly weren't
So
starting.
when he wasn't injured, Partey would be in the first 11. Historically, when he's been at Arsenal, when he hasn't been injured, he's been picked in the first 11. So there's four. That's a third of the team.
Tomiyasu as well.
Historically. Listen,
And
to me...
and Tomiyasu, there we go.
so it's
Fielding 5.
We've got five.
There we go. We're getting there.
Any harm in five? So 5 players.
Yeah, and the players that you would count as, we can't even call them reserves anymore. It's impactors, finishers. We've still got great quality. And it's very hard for me to support any team where Ronaldo's playing, but for me, I want to see Portugal go far, so that those 3 Wolves players don't come back. I'd like to see Portugal in the final.
They're not starters, they're not.
But it doesn't matter. You're taking them away from pre-season, which is disrupting Wolves' pre-season. Which is
It's a big thing, like, you know.
I think you're
So how
totally
many weeks is
underestimating.
Robert? Just work it out. How many weeks is it from that, like the 14th in to August?
The 28th, 2 weeks.
No, August. When's that first game? It's the 17th of August. So
you got 4 or 5 weeks.
5 weeks from that to the first game. So
so
they've still got. If
No,
they
but
have
the
3
way-
weeks,
the way
they've
in
still
which-
got
It's got
2
2
weeks.
weeks.
They've
The
still
way,
got better
the
2
way in
weeks.
which I worked it out is that I'm not working it out like that. I'm working it out on the first pre-season game, and I'm also working it out on how, based off of the last 2 seasons. By the way, this is nobody's fault, you know. This is not Arsenal's fault. It's just the circumstances, yeah, right? But I'm working it out based off of the last couple seasons and the way we've been prepared and gone away to Germany.
They're not doing that this year.
They're not
are
doing
they?
that this year. The
Germany,
Adidas
they're doing
players,
poor
and you
and
see them players relax, riding on bikes and all that, and little training till they then start to build a US tour, 3 games there. Then they come back, play the game in the Emirates Cup, game behind closed doors. Then the Community Shield, then ready. First game, let's go.
Well, this
This year,
interesting.
this year it's a lot different.
Yeah, but if you look at our first game last season against Forest, I thought that was one of our poorest performances.
Still already.
It is interesting that
We weren't there. We were ready
We won.
in as much as we won.
We won, and we got off to a good start of the season,
we'll,
didn't we?
We'll win against Wolves.
Did we get off a good? I'm not saying we won't win against Wolves. I'm just talking about the preparation. I'm just talking about, you know, it's something that has to be highlighted because it's going to be disrupted this year.
It's interesting they put 2 Emirates Cups games in there. Maybe that's the reason that they've done that. I know we ain't in the Community Shield, but
And you see what they've done with
It was
them?
always 2 games.
Lee, but you
before
see what
that.
they've done with them though?
well, it was 1 and then the Community Shield, wasn't it?
See what they've done with them though? They put them apart.
Yeah.
Because there used to be Emirates
Saturday
Cup on the
and Sunday,
weekend,
yeah.
Saturday, Sunday. But what they've done now, because they're wary of the preparation thing, they've got one on
Yeah.
the Wednesday, one on the Saturday. So listen, they're making a plan for it. I'm just highlighting it, and I want to see how prepared they're going to be.
It is a worry. I'm not going to lie, it is a worry. But that is why a lot of fans, dare I say, us included, are not really international, because it does affect my Arsenal. You know what I mean? This does affect it. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
England winning the Euros,
it would be fantastic, but like, you know,
or
Look, he's got the question that he's asked us so many times. So you're either going to lie to the answer or you're going to tell the truth.
England,
I'm
winning,
gonna
all
tell
right,
the
England
truth.
winning the Euros, or Arsenal winning the FA Cup.
That's not-
Arsenal, England winning the Euros, Arsenal winning the Carabao Cup. Come on the League Cup every day. Like,
Carabao Cup?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I'm being honest.
And I'll be honest. And you say if you agree with me on this one. Okay, England winning the Euros or Arsenal beating Wolves first game of the season?
Arsenal beating Wolves.
Me too. What about you?
What-
He's thinking about should he lie or not.
Yeah, shit. No, I'm
No,
not being
lying.
honest.
England winning the Euros.
Really?
Really?
Because it's the first game, we could bounce back and win the rest. I think it'd be great for our players as well.
Look, listen,
great for the country.
I love England. I'll be watching the cricket later
It's
on.
one
and all
game.
that. But
One game.
Arsenal is the being and all to me.
And for me.
No, and for me,
Yeah.
but
Well, it obviously
one
isn't.
game,
You'd rather-
one game. Lose
We lost
against
the league by
Wolves.
2 points last year. Like
yeah,
that,
so
mate.
one game has an effect.
As an effect.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't the only game we lost.
No, it
We
wasn't
did
the only,
lose
the
about
only game,
5 games last
but
year.
that game could make a difference. Could make a difference. So I'll re-ask the question: England to win the Euros or Arsenal to beat Wolves?
No, we'd make it up, man. England to win the Euros.
Well, we didn't make it up last season.
England to win the Euros. If we'd make it up.
Okay,
We'd make it up.
all right.
And if it's Carabao Cup or England to win the Euros, I'd go England to win the Euros. If it's FA Cup, I'm going FA Cup. I want Arsenal to win the FA Cup. Champions League's not even a question. League's not even a question.
What about Emirates Cup?
I'll take England
I'll
to
take
win it.
England,
I'll
just
take
about
England to win it. Like, you know what I mean? Listen,
All right. Community Shield. Arsenal to win the Community Shield or England to win the Euros? If we was in the Community Shield.
England again. England. I'll
He's like,
Oh no, I'm thinking about it because
he's not even giving it. He's not even the Community Shield.
Because the other aspect is
It don't change
I
your
want
life.
to. No, I want to see Saka back. Every time he goes on the pitch, I get worried, and I want him.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
when I'm watching these games, there is part of me thinking, "Oh, please don't get injured. Please don't get injured."
Yeah, of course.
So when he
of
gets
course.
Havertz
subbed, how do
diving
you
in
feel when he
tackles,
gets subbed? When Saka gets subbed?
I feel bad.
Yeah, I
Well,
feel
you're
a little
happy with
bit.
that?
I'm happy to see him nicely kind of safe
No,
on the bench.
I was a little bit. I'm going to be
disappointed.
honest. I was a little bit peeved that he took him
Yeah.
off him. It was like
I think it's a wrong decision, but the flip side is at least he's not going to get injured, especially on that pitch the other day.
there is that. I get what you're saying on that, but like, I thought it was wrong for him to come off. Like,
Listen, right, we come to the end of the show today. I want to ask any fan that's watching from England, right? Actually, anybody, you've got a country vested interest in the Euros or in the Copa America, where an Arsenal player's at. So if you might be Brazilian, you might be watching this. You might be from Belgium, France, Germany, as well as England.
Turkey,
of course,
because
right?
Turkish. I'd be very interested to see what Turkish would say to this.
England winning the Euros, yeah, or your prospective team, your prospective country, or Arsenal winning the first game. It's club v country now. Want to know from you guys in the comments. Please let me know. We're going to try and tot it up and see what it comes to. That's actually a good question.
It is a good question.
Let's, once again, your prospective country with an Arsenal player winning either the Copa America or the Euros, or you've got to sacrifice, to get that, you've got to sacrifice Arsenal's first game against Wolves. They lose that. Let us know in the comments, guys.
I'll tell you one thing, right, and I'll be really honest. If England go out to Euros, I'll be disappointed, right? If Arsenal lose to Wolves, I won't sleep that night. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's the difference. That is a difference.
All right, and also,
Yeah.
Also in the chat, if in the comments, if anybody can recommend any more rides that Lee can go on, you know what I mean, like any other theme parks or anything.
The teacups.
If you maybe you work at a theme park and you want to send us a pass
Yeah.
for him to go on another ride, but he's got to have some loops and all that in it, right? Maybe that one, you know that one where they just drop you.
Yeah,
I saw
he
this
likes
one.
I can do that.
I saw this. You can do that one.
Was it Tower in
I wasn't too enthusiastic on that one.
Okay, no, not that one then. All right, so we need some ones with loops and drops and stuff like that.
Because we're in LA, there's plenty of places there. Universal, Knoxbury.
Yeah. So if we can get a pass,
And
right,
also-
and get Lee over there, let us know.
We've got
ASAP.
We've got Disneyland there as well.
right, and we'll film it. We'll make sure we film this one. Listen, thanks for watching the show. Don't forget you can sign up to eToro. The link is in the description right now. So sign up to eToro. We can't find Joe. He's disappeared. You know what I mean? Apparently he's made so much money off of eToro from his signing.
He's in Vegas.
Yeah.
That he's in Vegas right now, you know what I mean, with dark glasses on, you know what I mean? So, listen, sign up to eToro. Remember, it's very, very good. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Julian, and we'll see you next week. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.